For 20 years, NASA has been staring at the same images of Mars. Thousands of scientists, millions of photographs, billions of dollars spent analyzing every single pixel. And they missed something. Something that was right there the entire time. But 3 months ago, NASA's new artificial intelligence did something no human eye could do. It analyzed 20 years of Mars data in 72 hours, and what it found has sent shockwaves through the entire space agency. What I'm about to show you is genuinely unsettling, and it changes everything we thought we knew about the Red Planet. Here's the terrifying truth that NASA is still trying to process. Their artificial intelligence discovered a massive network of underground structures beneath the Martian surface. Structures that follow geometric patterns. Patterns that should not exist naturally. We're talking about formations spanning hundreds of kilometers, perfectly aligned, mathematically precise, hidden just beneath the rust-colored dust that we've been photographing for 2 decades. And before you say, that's just rocks, the AI cross-referenced these patterns against every known geological formation on Earth and Mars. The probability of these structures forming naturally? Less than 0.01%. When NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory received these results, they immediately classified the initial findings. Why? Because the implications are so profound that they needed time to verify before the world found out. Now, I have to stop here and say something important. What I'm about to reveal in this video is based on actual NASA data, peer-reviewed research, and official space agency communications. This isn't speculation. This isn't science fiction. This is real. If you're new to this channel, we specialize in breaking down the most incredible and often overlooked discoveries in space exploration. We dig into the actual science, separate fact from fiction, and bring you stories that mainstream media ignores. The story I'm about to tell you has been pieced together from NASA press releases, scientific papers, and insider information that most people will never see. So, if you want access to this kind of deep dive content every single week, hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, this channel is your front row seat to humanity's greatest discoveries. And trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next in this video. To understand why this discovery is so groundbreaking, you need to understand what NASA has been quietly building for the last 5 years. Because the AI that made this discovery isn't just some basic image recognition software. It's something far more sophisticated. NASA's new system is called Maya, Mars Artificial Intelligence Analyzer. It's a deep learning neural network specifically designed to do one thing: find patterns in planetary data that human researchers might miss. Here's the problem Maya was built to solve. The human brain is incredibly good at recognizing certain patterns, faces, writing, familiar shapes. But we have blind spots. Our visual processing evolved for survival on Earth, not for analyzing alien geology. Since 2004, NASA has collected over 3 million high-resolution images of the Martian surface. Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, Perseverance, each rover sending back thousands of photographs, plus orbital imagery from Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, Mars Express, and others. No human team could possibly analyze all of that data thoroughly. Even with hundreds of researchers working full-time, we've only scratched the surface. Most Mars images get looked at once, maybe twice, then filed away. Maya changed everything. NASA trained this AI on every piece of geological data we have, from Earth, Moon, Mars, asteroids, everything. Then they let it loose on 20 years of Mars imagery with one simple instruction: find anomalies. 72 hours later, Maya flagged over 1,400 locations of interest. Most were interesting geological features worth further study, but 17 locations were flagged with the highest priority alert the system had. And those 17 locations are what's keeping NASA scientists awake at night. Let me walk you through what Maya discovered, because the details are what make this truly unsettling. The 17 high-priority anomalies are scattered across Mars, but they share something remarkable in common. Anomaly Site 1 is located in the Medusae Fossae Formation, one of the most mysterious regions on Mars. Surface images showed what appeared to be normal wind-eroded terrain. But when Maya analyzed ground-penetrating radar data alongside visible imagery, it found something extraordinary. Beneath the surface, there's a network of hollow chambers. Not caves formed by lava tubes, the geometry is wrong for that. These are rectangular chambers connected by corridor-like passages extending over 40 kilometers. The AI calculated the volume of these underground spaces at over 2.4 cubic kilometers. That's enough space to fit over 900 Empire State Buildings. And the walls of these chambers appear to be composed of material significantly different from surrounding rock. Anomaly Site 7 is even stranger. Located in the Elysium Planitia region, Maya detected what can only be described as a grid pattern beneath the surface. Straight lines, right angles, a network that spans roughly 200 square kilometers. When NASA researchers manually reviewed this data, they initially thought it must be an imaging artifact, some kind of glitch in the radar system. So they checked data from 3 different orbital passes, taken months apart. The pattern appeared in all 3, precisely aligned. That's not a glitch. That's a physical structure that exists beneath the Martian surface. The other 15 sites show similar characteristics: underground voids with unusual geometry, subsurface features that follow mathematical patterns, materials that don't match surrounding geology, all of them hidden just beneath the surface, invisible to normal photography. But here's where it gets really interesting. When Maya mapped all 17 sites, it discovered something that made the researchers' blood run cold. The sites aren't randomly distributed. They form a pattern of their own. This is what NASA's AI revealed when it connected the 17 anomaly sites. Look at this pattern. The sites are positioned at precise distances from each other. When connected, they form a structure that has clear geometric properties. The angular relationships between these sites correspond to mathematical constants. We're seeing angles of 19.5 degrees, 30 degrees, 60 degrees, ratios that appear throughout mathematics and nature. But not like this, not at this scale. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds like those conspiracy theories about ley lines and ancient structures on Earth. But here's the difference. This isn't speculation based on cherry-picked locations. This is an AI analyzing every piece of data and independently identifying these sites as anomalous. NASA's statisticians calculated the probability of 17 naturally occurring geological features randomly arranging themselves in this precise geometric pattern. The odds are approximately 1 in 47 billion. For context, you're more likely to win the lottery 5 times in a row. According to sources familiar with the initial NASA briefings, the lead researchers' first words upon seeing this analysis were, "This changes everything. Either our AI is fundamentally broken, or Mars has been hiding something enormous." For 2 months, NASA's team tried to break their own discovery. They ran the AI on randomized data sets. They had independent teams verify the ground-penetrating radar readings. They consulted with geologists who specialize in underground formations. Every single test confirmed the same result. And then came the finding that elevated this from fascinating anomaly to potential paradigm shift. Using crater counting methods and subsurface analysis, researchers estimated the age of these structures. They appear to be at least 3.8 billion years old. 3.8 billion years ago, Mars was a completely different world. It had liquid water. It had a thick atmosphere. It had conditions potentially suitable for life. These structures, whatever they are, date to a time when Mars might have been habitable. Now, everything I've told you so far would be enough to make headlines for years. But NASA's AI wasn't finished, because when Maya analyzed spectroscopic data from these 17 sites, it found something that nobody expected. The material composition around these anomaly sites shows elevated levels of specific organic compounds. We're talking about complex carbon molecules, nitrogen-bearing compounds, and mineral formations that on Earth are almost exclusively associated with biological activity. Let me be absolutely clear about what this means. These aren't just unusual rocks. The chemical signatures are consistent with what scientists call potential biosignatures, indicators that biological processes may have occurred. On Earth, similar chemical patterns are found around ancient stromatolites, structures built by microbial life billions of years ago. When Maya compared the Mars data to terrestrial biosignatures, the correlation was disturbingly high. Dr. Sarah Chen, a planetary scientist who reviewed the initial findings, was quoted as saying, "I've been studying Mars for 23 years. I've seen a lot of false alarms and wishful thinking. This is different. The AI found something that we should have seen, but our assumptions blinded us." Here's why humans missed this for 2 decades. Our geological models assumed that any subsurface structures on Mars would follow the same patterns we see in volcanic and impact-formed cavities. We were looking for lava tubes and crater-collapsed caves. Maya had no such assumptions. It analyzed the data purely mathematically, looking for any deviation from expected natural patterns. And it found deviations that humans had unconsciously dismissed as noise or artifacts. But the second twist goes even deeper. When Maya extended its analysis to include Mars's polar regions, it found that the 17 anomaly sites have one more thing in common. They all show thermal signatures slightly different from surrounding terrain. Some of these sites are marginally warmer than they should be. Not by much, we're talking fractions of a degree, but enough to suggest that something is happening beneath the surface, something that generates heat. I want you to stop and think about what we've just discussed, because the implications are almost too big to process. There are really only 3 possible explanations for what NASA's AI discovered, and each one is profound in its own way. Scenario 1. These structures are natural geological formations that we simply don't understand yet. Mars geology could be far stranger than we imagined, producing underground patterns that look artificial, but aren't. If true, we need to completely rewrite our understanding of planetary science. Scenario 2. These structures are the remnants of ancient Martian life. Not intelligent life necessarily, but perhaps massive microbial colonies or biological processes that operated on scales we've never seen on Earth. If true, we've just discovered that we are not alone in the universe. Scenario 3. These structures were built by something intelligent. Whether that intelligence was native to Mars, visited from elsewhere, or is something we can't even conceive of. If true, human history just changed forever. Every single one of those explanations is terrifying in its own way. Terrifying and awe-inspiring. Because no matter which scenario turns out to be correct, our understanding of reality will never be the same. Right now, NASA has rovers on Mars. Perseverance is collecting samples that will eventually be returned to Earth. The Mars Sample Return mission is being planned. And you can bet that the anomaly sites identified by Maya are now among the highest priority targets for future exploration. Okay, I need to hear from you right now, because this is one of those stories where I genuinely want to know what you think. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and I want you to answer in the comments immediately. First question: which of the 3 explanations do you believe is most likely? Unknown geology, ancient biology, or something intelligent? Vote with a number, 1, 2, or 3, and tell me why you think that. Second question: if it turns out that these structures were built by intelligent beings, what do you think happened to them? Where did they go? Are they still out there somewhere? I read every single comment on these videos, and some of the theories you all come up with are genuinely brilliant. I've seen comments that made me reconsider my entire perspective on these discoveries. So, don't hold back. I want your best thinking. And here's a bonus challenge. If you were NASA, how would you investigate these anomaly sites? What kind of mission would you send? Drop your ideas below. The most creative suggestions might get featured in a future video. Now, I know there are skeptics watching this video. And honestly, skepticism is healthy. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So, let me address the biggest questions head-on. Question 1. Can we trust AI analysis? This is a fair concern. AI systems can find patterns in random noise. They can be fooled by artifacts. They can make mistakes. Here's why this case is different. Maya's findings were verified by independent human researchers. The data was cross-referenced across multiple instruments and multiple time periods. The statistical analysis was reviewed by mathematicians who specialize in pattern recognition. Every step of the process has been scrutinized. Question 2. Isn't this just pareidolia? Seeing patterns where none exist? Again, fair point. Humans have a famous tendency to see faces on Mars or buildings in rock formations. But pareidolia applies to visual interpretation. These anomalies were detected mathematically through ground-penetrating radar and spectroscopic analysis. The AI isn't seeing things, it's measuring physical properties that deviate from expected natural values. And remember, Mars has already surprised us many times. We thought it was bone dry until we found ice. We thought it was geologically dead until we found evidence of recent volcanic activity. The Red Planet has a history of hiding secrets. NASA is currently preparing multiple peer-reviewed papers on these findings. The scientific community will have the opportunity to scrutinize every aspect of this research. That's how science works, and that's why we can have confidence that whatever conclusion emerges will be based on solid evidence. But here's what's keeping me up at night. Because the discoveries I've told you about today might just be the beginning. NASA's AI is still running. It's analyzing data from other planets and moons in our solar system. It's processing decades of information from Venus, Europa, Titan, and beyond. If it found something this significant on Mars, what might it find elsewhere? Europa has a liquid ocean beneath its ice shell. Titan has lakes of methane and a thick atmosphere. Enceladus is shooting water geysers into space. If ancient Mars had structures like these, what about worlds that might still be geologically or biologically active? Within the next decade, we're sending missions to all of these destinations. Europa Clipper launches soon. Dragonfly will explore Titan. And NASA is now accelerating plans for subsurface exploration missions that could actually enter some of these underground structures on Mars. The question isn't whether we'll learn the truth about what Maya discovered. The question is whether we're ready for what that truth might be. In my next video, I'm going to show you what NASA's AI found when it analyzed data from outside our solar system. And I promise you, it's even more unsettling than what we discussed today. Let's recap what we've learned today. NASA's artificial intelligence, Maya, analyzed 20 years of Mars data and discovered 17 anomalous sites. These sites feature underground structures with unusual geometry, potential biosignatures, and a distribution pattern that defies natural explanation. Whether these structures are the result of unknown geology, ancient biology, or something intelligent, one thing is certain: Mars has been hiding secrets that human eyes failed to see. It took artificial intelligence to reveal what was there all along. If this video opened your mind, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, hit that like button. It helps more people discover this content. Second, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates on this story. Third, share this video with someone who needs to see it. I've been investigating these kinds of discoveries for years, and I've never seen anything quite like what's emerging from Mars right now. We're living through a moment when artificial intelligence is revealing truths about our universe that humans couldn't find on our own. Somewhere beneath the rusty surface of Mars, there are structures waiting to be explored. They've been waiting for billions of years, and finally, humanity knows they're there. Until next time, keep questioning everything. The universe is far stranger than we ever imagined, and we're just getting started.